G'day to all my friends and family, and welcome to Jim's 5am Club. It's 10 o'clock on a Tuesday, and as you can see, it's a very smoky Tuesday at that. I can hardly see the Harbour Bridge, so obviously there's a burn-off happening somewhere, generating lots and lots of smoke, and I guess the direction of the breeze is just bringing it here into the CBD and choking up everything and everyone. Just amazing. It's amazing how smoke can change an environment so quickly. But let's go on a walk and talk. And today's topic, or today's book summary that I'm going to cover, is entitled How to Talk to Anyone. How to Talk to Anyone, and the author is Lyle Townders. So an interesting book, and I guess there are tips and hints here for each and every one of us, because we all need to improve our communication skills. We all need to become more engaging and socially better at dealing with people, especially in this day and age where social media has really taken off. And we've got lots and lots of connections, but in terms of the quality of those connections, it leaves a lot to be desired. So nothing beats face-to-face, nothing beats the touch, the smell, the feel of being with people face-to-face. And the author here talks about some of the finer skills that one can incorporate into their inventory of social ability. And she kicks off the book with a really powerful quote, a real cracker, a real interesting one, and it's something that really resonates with me. Absolutely enjoyed reading this. And what she said is that when you act as if you like someone, if you just act as if you like someone, you start to really like them. It's a powerful sort of thing, and something that a lot of us can sit and ponder about. So if you just act like you like someone, then what happens is that you create the chemistry between yourself and them, and you start to actually really like them. And hence, when you hang out with people, sooner or later you get used to them, and then you can't, live without being with them. I guess is another way of seeing it. So what I'll do is I'll head around here to the International Passenger Terminal and just get a view up the harbour and around the harbour to see how bad this smoke is. But in terms of knowing how to talk to anyone, the author says that the most important thing is knowing yourself. Knowing yourself first, because by knowing yourself, you become confident in your abilities and you understand your limitations. So by knowing yourself, you're able to leverage your strengths and I guess hide and minimize the impact of your limitations. And also, when you know yourself well, you're also in a position to be able to tell other people how you function. You're basically giving them an instruction manual in terms of, this is how I tick, this is how I work, this is how I think. And that in itself is really powerful. And it's really important to be able to not only understand yourself, but to allow other people to understand what works and what doesn't work for you. But the author also says that there's a bit of a warning here as well, because when you tell people too much about yourself, then you always risk being pigeonholed by those people and them basically generalizing and pigeonholing you away and treating you differently. So you've got to be wise, and you've got to know with whom you open up to, because there are people out there, of course, who are going to take advantage of you, who are going to laugh at you and basically use your instruction manual against you. So just a word of warning. And the author also mentions that all the human behaviour that we have lies on a spectrum, always has and always will. So we're constantly changing, constantly evolving, and each and every one of us, we are different. We are different from each other, and we change over time as well. There are some core elements that we all have, but even those core elements under pressure and over time sometimes change. So one of the first items that the author talks about, one of the first formal points that they talk about, is when you, in order to meet and talk with anyone, is the introduction. Because the introduction can lead to a great conversation starter. So those first 10 seconds when you meet someone is the time where you can make or break that transaction, that interaction. It's the first hurdle, it's the first hump. And sometimes the best thing to do is to get other people to introduce you rather than to go up cold and unannounced. The author says that sometimes an introduction by someone else helps smooth the waters and gets things off to a better start. But you need to be able to strike up a conversation, and in order to strike up a conversation, you need to seek a few details and know a few details, and you must also remember to smile, nod, wave, and basically try and be yourself, as long as being yourself is something that you're comfortable being. The author then goes on to giving us a few other hints, and they talk about mimicry and companionship are two powerful ways to form a connection. So what's mimicry? Mimicry is when you mimic someone else. Other people describe it as mirroring. So it's basically replicating as best you can the language, the tone, the body language, and the words, the energy flow, all of those sorts of things, because people love people who are just like them. So the easiest way to get people to like you is that to keep them talking about themselves, but also by you acting the same way they're acting, they're able to feel comfortable because they're looking in the mirror and seeing themselves. So people will subconsciously feel comfortable around you if you and their movements are in sync and are the same. That's why when we dance with people, say for example Greek folk dancing or Zebekiko or Tsiptideli, a lot of that what we're doing is mimicking each other, and we're doing it to a rhythm, we're doing it to a song, and we're doing it over and over again. So we've got the moves, we've been dancing for years, and yet the same songs keep on revolving and coming up, and we get an opportunity to dance, but also to mimic our forefathers, mimic the people who have gone before us, and create an anchor or something which binds us together. So if people use their hands a lot, use your hands. If they use certain words, incorporate those words into your vocabulary. Show people that you're on the same page. Use terms like we and us. When you're talking about things, use the word our. Use it in jokes. Have a running gag. If you can have a running gag with somebody where every time you see them you say the same thing and you start to laugh and carrying on, that in itself is a great form of connection. And you'll see it a lot. I've got lots of friends of mine who have running gags with different people in their social circles. And it's really, really useful and really effective. So the power of the running gag is really, really cool. And what it does is it lifts the spirits of the group, and it keeps us connected and keeps us enjoying each other's company. It's when those running gags start to become stale and you don't get the responses anymore that you know that you're starting to have some issues with your relationships and your circles. So the last point that the author talks about here is that it's all about praise and complimenting. And some people are good at it, and other people are hopeless at it. So the author gives us a couple of rules to observe and to follow and to incorporate into our skill set. And here's a beauty. I love this one here. The better you know someone, the more specific you should be in your praise. You know, don't be general in your praise of people who you know really well. What the author is saying here as a call to action is that we need to be specific and to pick out things that they do that we absolutely love, and we've got to tell them, this is what I love about you, this is what I like about you, this is what I admire about you, this specific thing, which is great because it also brings out something in me. It encourages me, or it emboldens me, or it makes me laugh. You've got to be specific in your praise of people who you know really well. And you need to learn to give people genuine compliments, not the fake ones. You know, if they look sexy, if they look pretty, if they look hot, if what they've said is really funny or really smart, or they are a great role model, or they bring people together, tell them specifically what they've done, how they've done it, and why it's important. It is really, really key. So the more you know and appreciate someone, the more detailed and frequent you should be telling them. I've given this a double tick. So learn to use this, incorporate it in your personality type. Don't be shy, don't be stingy with giving compliments, because at the end of the day, life is short and we need to tell people how you feel and how they make you feel. That's the last point. And on that, I'll reflect. I was at church yesterday and I received a text message from a really good friend of mine, a very close school friend of mine, telling me about another friend of ours who had passed away. And apparently he was just sitting on his second floor balcony at his home, and I don't know, he leant back or lost his balance and fell off the balcony, landing on his head, and died at the scene. And of course I was saddened to hear a friend of mine dying so young. I guess the other issue that I had is that this happened almost 2 years ago, and to think that I only just found out is also sad as well. But you know, you do get disconnected with your friends, you know, people that we haven't seen for a few years. I think the last time I saw Peter was at the school reunion a couple of years ago, 2 or 3 years ago. So he'll be missing at the next school reunion. And once again, we don't know who'll be at that next school reunion. I could be missing as well, who knows. But we need to make time for each other, for our friends. We need to tell them that we miss them, we love them, and we also need to be specific in our praise and to let them know why the friendship that we fostered so many years ago was so important to us. And also to get a chance to connect with family and friends and tell them how you feel, because you never know. That last time you saw them, that last time you farewelled them, hugged them, gave them a high five, shook their hand, could very well be the last time you ever do that with that particular person. So we need to treat each other with respect, and to know that once you get to a certain age, then life becomes unpredictable. And I guess I'll leave it there. So let's finish off with a positive affirmation. I'm alive, I'm well, I feel absolutely great. To my friends and family, stay connected, stay reasonable, stay relevant. And I look forward to coming to you again from a different location with a different message, a message of empowerment, which will help us get through the morning, get through the day, and be the wind beneath our wings, the wave beneath our board, the zephyr that bellows our mainsail, and the propeller that pushes us in the direction where we want to go. So yasas, take care, let's live, learn and pass it on, and enjoy the fruits of our labours, and enjoy this most magnificent autumn day. Regardless of whether or not it's smoky, it's still a glorious, glorious day. Take care, yasas, filaka from Jim's 5am Club. Bye.